It started with a random idea. Let's have a baby, and he smiled, like she had given him the world. Just days later, she was pregnant. They shopped for bottles and bibs, danced in the baby aisle, in the mall a few days later. They walked barefoot on the beach, laughing as he talked to her belly and kissed. But she was hiding something. Months ago, during a fight, she ran off and made a mistake with a stranger. One night. One secret. She never told him. Then the pain hit. She screamed in the rain. He carried her barefoot to the ambulance. At the hospital, the baby was born. It had floppy ears, a puppy tail, and it barked. She broke down. I didn't mean for this. He kissed the baby once. He's not mine, but he's still innocent. Then he walked away, into the cold, quiet hallway. But someone was waiting. Outside, the dog stepped forward. He looked at the baby and gently took him in his arms. This time, he didn't walk away.
In a small town, tucked away in rural Kansas, lived an old woman named Martha. She was known for her kind smile, her worn-out overalls, and the smell of fresh pie always floating from her porch. But above all, she was known as Eli's mom. Eli had always been a bright, kid-smart, driven, full of dreams. When he got a scholarship to a big university in New York, the whole town celebrated. Martha stood by the bus with tears in her eyes and a heart full of hope. "Go chase your dreams, son," she'd said, hugging him tight. "But don't forget your way back." Time passed. Eli made it big. Corporate job, fancy apartment, business cards with his name in gold letters. Phone calls home turned into texts. Then, not even that. Whenever neighbors asked, "How's Eli doing?" Martha would smile. "He's doing great, busy, you know, changing the world." But deep down, her heart ached for the sound of his voice. One snowy December morning, Martha felt weak. Her breath was short, her bones heavy. She asked the neighbor girl to help her write a letter. "Dear Eli, if you still remember me, come home, just once. Love, Mom." The letter took 3 days to arrive. When Eli opened it in his sleek New York apartment, the scent of home hit him not through smell, but memory. Her warm hands, the Sunday pancakes, the laughter under the stars. And just like that, the noise of his life seemed unbearable. He packed a bag, canceled meetings, and caught the next flight to Kansas. When he pulled up the driveway, snow crunching under his boots, he saw her on the porch thinner, older, but still his mom. She looked up, smiled through tears, and said, "You made it, baby." Eli dropped his bag and ran to her. "I'm sorry, Mom. I got so lost." Martha held his face in her hands, her voice soft but steady. "Doesn't matter. You came home. That's all I ever wanted." That night, there was no wine, no Wi-Fi, no business talk, just a fire crackling in the hearth, and a son resting his head on his mother's lap, like he used to. For the first time in years, Eli felt at peace.
A young father in hospital clothes, pacing nervously outside a delivery room, holding his breath, hands shaking. Inside the room, exhausted mother on the hospital bed, sweaty but smiling through tears. A nurse gently handing her a newborn baby, wrapped in a soft blanket. Mother holds the baby close to her chest for the first time. Happy tears roll down her cheeks. Soft hospital lights glow warmly. Nurse gestures for the father to come in. He walks in slowly, eyes wide, covering his mouth, overwhelmed with emotion. Mother carefully hands the baby to the father. His hands tremble. Tears fall as he gazes at his baby daughter in awe. Close up. Father kisses the baby's tiny forehead. Baby yawns. Parents look at each other, pure love in their eyes. Ending text. The moment light.
She was just 24 when she found herself holding a newborn in a hospital room alone. No husband, no family, just her and a future she hadn't planned. Life hit hard and fast. She worked nights at a local diner in a small town in Ohio, juggling trays and tips, while her baby slept in a car seat behind the counter. Rent was always overdue, electricity came and went, and her body never stopped aching. But somehow, every night before bed, she still read her son a story, still packed him lunch with a smiley face on the napkin, still told him he could do anything. Kids at school made fun of him for never having new shoes or a dad who showed up. One day in 10th grade, he got suspended for fighting. He punched a kid for mocking his mom, calling her a waitress loser. When the school called, she cried in the car, not from the trouble, but from the guilt. That night, sitting in silence, he looked at her and said, "You didn't fail me, Mom. You taught me to fight for the right things." She didn't respond, just hugged him tighter than ever. Over the years, he studied hard in school, at the library, at home. She slept in the living room so he could have a quiet place to read. She sold her wedding ring, her mom's old radio, even her blood once, just to pay for his college applications. When he got into Harvard, she collapsed to the floor in disbelief, holding the acceptance letter like it was sacred. But he didn't let her go with him, he told her. "One more sacrifice, Mom. Let me do this on my own. When I graduate, you'll walk across that stage with me." 4 years passed. She worked the same job, same apartment, same second-hand clothes. She didn't complain. On graduation day, she sat on her torn couch, wearing a thrifted red dress, watching her son walk across the stage valedictorian of Harvard Law. The camera zoomed in on him as he stood at the podium. He smiled and said, "This degree is not mine. It belongs to the woman who raised me when the world gave her nothing, who served coffee by day and dreams by night. My mother, my hero." The crowd stood and clapped, and in that moment, back in her tiny apartment, she covered her mouth and whispered through tears, "That's my baby. No medals, no parades, just a tired woman who gave everything and a son who never forgot. That's what real success looks like."
Once upon a moonlit rooftop, a soft-hearted orange tabby named Max fell head over paws for a white Persian named Bella. He brought her fish, curled up beside her every night, until one day she vanished with a sleek, gray tuxedo cat named Leo. What she didn't know was that Max's best friend, a sneaky striped alley cat named Ricky, saw it all. The tail touches, the secret alley meetups, the midnight purrs. Max's heart shattered like a dropped milk bowl. Days passed, then weeks, until one rainy night, Bella found a scratch-written note on her windowsill. "You played with the wrong paws." Ricky begged Max to let it go. "She's not worth a single whisker." But Max's eyes had changed, glowing not with love, but with vengeance. Leo's whiskers twitched nervously the night Max cornered him on the fence. No claws, no fight, just a single stare that said it all. Bella returned, meowing apologies, eyes full of regret. But Max was already walking away, tail high. Because real cats don't meow revenge, they walk away in silence.
A baby girl sits in her crib, giggling as a fluffy brown cat jumps around playfully. Nearby, her dad watches with a tired smile, rubbing his eyes after working the night shift. Every morning, this little cat made her laugh and gave her dad strength to keep going. Dad gets ready for work, holding the baby in one arm. The cat rubs against his leg as if saying goodbye. He kneels and whispers to the cat, "Take care of her for me, okay?" A week passes. The baby looks around the house, confused. The cat sits silently at the door, waiting. He never came home. The accident took him too soon. The baby cries every night. The cat stays by her crib, watching over her, gently purring until she sleeps. But the cat never left her side, just like he asked. Years later, the little girl, now 6, hugs the old cat tightly, holding.
It was supposed to be a peaceful vacation. A young mother and father drove deep into the jungle with their baby girl, golden retriever, and grandparents following close behind. Laughter echoed as they arrived at a beautiful wooden cabin surrounded by towering trees and golden light. But that night, strange things began. A soft glow outside the cabin window caught the baby's eyes, and the dog growled low. On the wall, carved in rough scratches, the chilling warning read, "Do not stay after midnight." At first, they ignored it, until the baby vanished. Panic set in. Moments later, she returned, different. Her eyes shimmered, and her teddy bear clung tightly to her. Shadows crept through the trees. Then came the knock. Midnight. The soul eater, a creature of darkness, burst through the ceiling. The dog leapt, the mother screamed, and the father held their child close. But instead of fear, the baby crawled toward the beast. Light radiated from her. The monster knelt, and then it turned to ash. The fire flickered, the baby blinked. Everyone stared in stunned silence. She had saved them, but no one knew how, or what she truly was.
Every morning, Pumpkin sat by the door, waiting for someone who would never come home. Ethan and Pumpkin were more than just a boy and a pet. They were best friends. They shared secrets, cuddles, and unconditional love. One morning, Ethan bent down, kissed Pumpkin's head, and ran off to soccer practice. He smiled and said, "Be good, I'll be back soon." But he never came back. Later that night, Pumpkin watched flashing lights paint the walls red and blue. He didn't understand the sirens. Ethan's room stayed untouched. Pumpkin curled up on his pillow, still searching, still hoping, still waiting for his boy. People in black came and went. They cried, they hugged, but Pumpkin stayed by Ethan's shoes, as if guarding the memory of someone he couldn't forget. 3:45 p.m. every single day. That was the time Ethan used to walk through the door. Pumpkin never missed it. He waited and waited. The family tried to help him move on. New toys, new treats, even a new kitten. But Pumpkin didn't want anything new. He wanted Ethan. When the thunder rolled, Pumpkin ran into Ethan's room, hiding under the blanket, holding onto a toy that still smelled like his best friend. Seasons changed. The house was quiet, but the pain stayed. Then one spring afternoon, Pumpkin rolled over and showed his belly, and Ethan's mom. She smiled through tears for the first time in months. That night, Pumpkin dreamed. In a glowing white field, he saw Ethan standing there, arms open. Pumpkin ran faster than ever, and as they met, their world lit up in golden light. Maybe Pumpkin never gave up, because love like theirs.
While his mother slept soundly on the couch, the little kitten seized an opportunity. With a mischievous grin, he took a pair of clippers and buzzed off a large chunk of her long, flowing hair. Giddy with his prize, he scurried away. He then got to work, first ironing the clippings and then taking them to a sewing machine, where he skillfully crafted them into a furry purse and a matching bejeweled necklace. He looked at the calendar. It was his mother's birthday and his gift was ready. When the mother awoke and discovered her hair was gone, her shock turned to pure rage. She grabbed the kitten, stormed to the door, and threw him out into the middle of a torrential downpour. Cold, muddy, and frightened, the kitten found himself stranded in a dark, stormy field. His terror intensified when a massive, menacing dog with glowing red eyes and a prosthetic leg began to stalk toward him. The kitten shrieked in fear and ran for his life as the dog gave chase. Back inside, the enraged mother confronted the kitten's muscular father. "Your son cut my hair," she seethed, pointing to the evidence on the floor. A protective fury ignited in the father. He let out a roar, burst through the front door, shattering it to pieces, and sprinted into the storm. He found his son cornered by the snarling beast. Without a moment's hesitation, the father engaged the dog in a fierce battle, quickly overpowering it. The fight over, he gently picked up his terrified, mud-caked son and held him close. Upon returning inside, the remorseful kitten tearfully presented the handmade purse and necklace to his mother, whispering an apology. Seeing the gift and understanding his intentions, her anger dissolved. She accepted the present and the reconciled family embraced, their bond restored.